allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order. First on the agenda is a public hearing for 139 South Colorado. I'd like to open up for any public comments. Any public comments that are going to go the other? Yeah, you're next one. No public comments? So we have owner Robert Thomas present. Robert, will you please give us your updated cell phone number and, or you don't have to give it live on TV. Will you please make sure that you have your updated information? Okay. Okay.
I'm here about the property. You said you're having a hearing on it. Tell me what you want me to do. I'm pretty limited to what I can do. You tell me what you want to do, and I'll do my very best to get it done.
Well, that was quite some time ago now that it was asked for anything to be done. And from our last report from code enforcement, not only has nothing been done, but it has deteriorated even more to being unsafe. And so the council actually is hearing this today in the idea of comment.
It's actually not unsafe. I inspected it today. It's not unsafe. So I'm not sure who's saying it is, but it's not. I mean, it's the code enforcer here to argue this point because I've inspected it and I've got an ICC certification and it's not unsafe. It is in disarray. Yeah, the door has been knocked out of it, and the wind has been jerked out of it. Yeah, there's been more damage to it. But this damage is not natural damage. This damage is due to somebody doing it. I mean, the door is not going to come off there and thrown in the middle of the yard. The windows is not going to be jerked out. These were brand new windows. I put them in myself. They were bolted in. They don't just fall off. And the wood's not that rotten. I've got one seal plate. It's 10 foot long. It has got some rock in it. It is not rotten. It is not unsafe. I can demo the project. I can demo it myself. I can salvage about half of the building. The section that was built in 1959, I don't care if it's salvaged or not, I'll put it in the dumpster. But I can do that myself. I own the property. I own the melodial title. Therefore, it can't be taken.
Correct.
But I can do all the demo and the repair. I can leave an empty lot
there. Okay, hold on a second. Is this the file pen? Yes. Okay. I'm trying to pull up. The most recent inspection was June 23rd of this year. The house is not safe at all. The roof is leaking and you can see daylight. The roof has leaked so long that the floor is rotted through. The walls are starting to rot on the inside and the wall plates are also rotting. The ceilings are collapsing in from water entering from the roof. The doors have rotted and have collapsed. The garage has tree limbs causing damage to the metal roof. The exterior OSB sheathing is deteriorating from not being protected with the house wrap. I recommend this house be condemned until proper repairs are made. And then let me look back real quick on the minutes.
I would like to say one thing.
Okay, go ahead.
It's real hard for the floor to be rotting when it's concrete.
I believe it's the second floor he was referring to.
The second floor is not rotting. I was up there today. Now, the section of the house that was built in 1959 has water damage when they put the fire out. That water damage has been there since they put the fire out. That was never repaired. I never got to that part. The only part I had worked on was the front section, floor to the ground, and the new front section on it. Now, the part of 1959, like I said, that section, I understand there There's damage there that was done by the fire department when it's fire out. I get that. But I walked through the house myself. It is safe. It's not falling down. And yes, I can and will either tear it down or I will replace it. I don't need anybody to do it for me.
So on April 7th, we sent you a letter, asked you to contact us by May 31st, 2025, and you did not hear from you.
I did not receive that letter. I was in treatment from April all the way through June.
I believe that's incorrect. You did sign for the letter.
Somebody signed for it. I believe it was my brother, and he did indicate that I got it.
Okay.
But I was in treatment. I am now out of treatment full time. I don't have to go back.
We have March 10th, 2025, January 6th, 2025, February 5th, 2024, March 28th, 2023 is when the inspection was done by RCP.
Now, we understand that I am an ICC certified building contractor. I can do my own inspections. I'm not a liar. I'm not a cheat. I understand the house needs some work and I'm willing to do it. I will do it myself. I just need a time frame.
Well, you have a time frame from the 23rd of March at least until,
I'm asking you what you want from here on.
well, at least since I've been mayor, which is 2 years, or a little over 19 months now, you've come twice and we asked you to tear it down.
I've been in
And you
cancer
did not.
treatment. I've been in cancer treatment and I've told you that every time. I
Yes,
am out
but you did
now.
say you could take it down.
Yes, I did. And I
And you
did.
said you would board it up also, but that didn't happen either.
You know, that was an attempt, but I did fail. I did go back into treatment. I am out now. I am not in treatment. I don't have to go back to treatment. I've actually been released to go back to work now.
Okay, well, I presented it back to the council. You stated that you are willing to demolish it. I don't know how many days that would take.
It would take me about 10 days with 2 minutes. I
Okay.
just gotta get the dumpsters. I just gotta get the money ahead to do it. I don't have the money. I got the money to pay the crew to do it. I just gotta get the dumpster money. 10 to 15 days, I could probably have it. If I can't have it within 15 days, I'll call you and I'll tell you I don't have it. But I would like to do it myself. That way I can salvage at least 20,000 or 50,000 I've got in it. Because I know if another crew does it, they're gonna throw it all in the dumpster.
Correct.
And I can't afford that. But if I can do it myself and try to salvage a little bit of it, I'll give me 15 days to try to come up with money. And I'll tell you, I know it's gonna cost $1,000 a dumpster. I've already checked. And I'm gonna tell you 4 dumpsters. I can have it with 4 dumpsters. The rest of it, I'm gonna salvage. So, 5, 6 grand into it, I can have it back there with the ground. And I'll put it tree limbs and stuff like that. The garage is not coming down. There's nothing wrong with that garage. Yes, there's a couple of limbs that are grown into it, but that's not my trees. Those are my neighbor's trees. You know, his ass cut the trees. I've asked him to cut it, he won't. I've asked him to cut it for the 25 years that I own the place, and he never wants to.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna worry about the trees right now. We're talking about the buildings.
I understand that, but you did mention the tree, maybe more over top.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, my neighbor's tree is damaging my roof, that's correct.
And we still have to get the grant off.
It's his tree that told me everything, but that was years ago. I'll end it with you.
Okay,
Since you're out of treatment, is it your intent to,
I'm sorry.
since you're out of treatment, is it your intent to demo and rebuild? Is it your intent to fix
I'll
it
tell you what.
there?
Tell you what,
What is your intent?
I've had that property sold 3 times. Now, there's a lien that's been attached to that property because my business partner who died, he failed to pay his taxes. I'm going to contact the people that wanted to buy the property and see if they still do, because the lien drops this month. That lien is no longer valid this month. That's an IRS lien because he didn't pay his taxes. He died before he paid his taxes. They attached to my property to because he was business partner. I contacted the IRS, they don't care.
So your intent is to sell the property?
If it doesn't sell, I'll take it down and then I will sell the empty lot with a garage and a concrete pad. But yeah, I'll sell it. I would love to rebuild it because I was property, I would another property over there on 303. I didn't intend to come home. I'd love to rebuild it. It's gonna take some money. Between now and then, it'll look better. Something has to happen.
What are our options as a city, Brad?
What has been indicated here is that he's willing to take it down. You can go ahead and just by agreement, continue the hearing, and simply by agreement indicate that it's your understanding it will be demolished and be taken down and be raised within a specified period of time, and then set your hearing thereafter. Probably the most pragmatic approach that you have. You can determine tonight by majority vote if you wish that it constitutes sufficient distressed property that it needs to be raised. But typically what I recommend to you is that is to give someone time anyway, that the owner to take it down and reclaim any salvage that they want, because it's obviously going to cost the city less. Go ahead and let someone else take it down as long as it comes. What I typically do, I'll be honest, in a lot of cities, this is just reach an agreement that we exchange and sign that indicates he's willing to take it down on or before a certain date.
So if it doesn't come down by that date, then what?
I usually put in there that the city then reserves the right to take it down on the, like you said, 60 days, 30 days. Then on the day thereafter, or any time after that, the city reserves the right to do it. Basically becomes a ruling, which you think.
And, real quick on the title search, the federal tax lien went on September 22nd, 2015. The Kansas tax lien went on June 21st, 2022. And you do owe 2024 property taxes.
Kansas tax rate has been dropped.
You just ran this July 3rd.
I paid. I don't know why. I paid that last year. I don't know why it's still there. They said it would be removed.
They want to contact them because it's on the tax.
I'll let the lawyer contact me, because I already have contact, and it's supposed to be dropped. And the tax rate for the feds this month, see, 10-year leave. This is it.
We've been fighting this forever. I'm only willing to get 30 days.
I hear you.
Okay,
So I would make a motion to have Brad draw up a paper stating he has 30 days to demo. If not, then the city's going to do it. Does that sound reasonable?
No, I'd like to ask for 90. I will,
You just said you could do it in 10.
no, I said I could have information on the money in. That's what I said. I didn't say I could do it.
We're gonna get 90, we're gonna be into.
And you were here 2 years ago and said, I will take it down because the studs are worth more than any house here in town. And it's been 2 years and nothing has been done.
But still, I'm not for 90 days. I mean, I have a right to ask for whatever I choose. You can argue it if you want. It's your will, it's your right to say no. But I'm still gonna ask.
I'll make a motion to have documents drawn up by the attorney, giving 30 days to demo the house, and if not, the city will.
So
all in favor, say aye. Motion carried. Brad, would that be 30 days from today, or would you do 30 days from the 2 days that you need to get it?
It's prepared to submit it. You have an email address I can send it to the city.
It's not, it's on file,
So it will be 30 days from the day that,
It's submitted
the
to
day it's submitted to.
and the date submitted to me.
And you are going to draw up and have it to him within,
2 days.
2 days. So my suggestion is if you do not see that document within 5 days, that you contact the city.
I'll say two, I'm gonna give you a call. Maybe it'll be 2 days.
Because-
I'll give you a call.
We need to make sure that it gets to you.
Absolutely. You still have that? Right, you have all my information still on file.
Should be in there.
I would ask you,
Nothing's
please,
changed.
well, I would ask you to double check it so there's not an accusation that it's incorrect.
Nothing's changed, so I'm sure.
Okay, I'm going to close the hearing for 139 South Colorado.
Let's call
Okay, did you guys hear the public forum? Did you hear the public forum? Okay. Let me just explain public forum real quick. If you think, because you want to talk about something that's on the agenda, this is the moment that you talk about what's on the agenda. It is not during the time that he was assigned to come speak during the agenda. Does that make it clear? So if you signed up to be on the agenda, I would assume you would be talking during the agenda. If you did not, and you want to say something about what's on the agenda, this is the moment it would be. Okay, so we start on the public forum, just making sure. Okay. For agenda changes approval, I need to ask to put, did Robert read?
He did one.
Can you go grab Robert?
You mean back in here?
If you can. Okay, well, I need to add an executive session number 3 for the night, and it would be the one to consult with the municipal attorney regarding pending or potential litigation pursuant to KSA 75-43192. So I need to add that as executive session number 3. I'm requesting that.
You said KSA what?
It's the same thing as executive session 1. Okay. And I'm also going to ask to put 303 North Colorado on, and I would like to ask that you put, before we go to agenda change, before we go to consent agenda, for respect of time of the owner of that property. 303 North Colorado. So I'm requesting 303 North Colorado to be under C, and I'm requesting executive session to be under H. Ray moved, Josh second, all in favor, say aye. Okay. Okay. Robert, please come up, sorry, he wasn't hearing. Robert, I'm just going to ask you, what your intent is in regards to A, 303 North Colorado, and a letter you received from Chief Oglesby in regards to COVID.
I didn't read the letter, so I can't say, because I don't know what the letter says.
Okay, the letter in regards to the roof being done in 45 days and the mowing done in 10.
Did we take care
Okay,
of? I don't know what to say, but if you take care
okay, that's.
Anything else?
No, we'll just put it in the,
you said 10 on the yard, 25 on the roof.
yes,
Good.
garage and house.
The garage is metal.
You're not doing work on the garage.
There's no need to change the metal, it's metal.
Oh, it's metal. I got you thinking of the shed, over the shed.
Oh, you're talking about the little she shed?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, so that, we just need to, minutes that you have intention to do something to, that property is also becoming dilapidated, so.
Okay.
The city has voted twice this year, so you do have 2 days on term mowing.
You guys look at my property, so Sean will mow it.
Yeah,
So he wasn't. Okay. So I paid Sean to mow the yard, and he said he was mowing it, but he didn't know it, you guys did.
he mowed around the outside edges,
Then what did you mow then?
everything that was from, 2 rows in to around.
Okay. I wasn't informed of that, I was informed that Sean was taking care of that for me.
Again, the city sent you a letter that said we,
I didn't get a letter.
okay.
I didn't get a letter saying you did anything. with that
So this
property.
does concern me because you say you're getting your mail,
I do get my mail,
but
but when I'm in treatment, I didn't get those letters, and you got the letters, I'd like to see them. You have a copy of them? I'd love to see them. I didn't receive them. Do you have a copy of the letter you sent me? I'd love
We can
to.
scan it and email it to you. So we can.
I can stick around if you get it for me, because I'd like to see it.
Okay, well, you can wait till the meeting's over and we can get that for you then. I may have to get minutes of the meeting.
All right, well, you got me, we need to know better. Thank you. I did not know anything about that.
Okay, well, we appreciate you attending to the problem.
I'll take care
Okay, thank you.
of it. Every day.
Okay, moving on to consent agenda. Any questions about bills? Minutes? And it's anything necessarily,
Hasn't stood out to me.
okay, may I have a motion to approve consent agenda, please?
Motion to approve consent agenda.
Okay, have a motion to approve, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, second, all in favor, say aye. Okay. Motion carried. Okay, Karen, do you have an account number for the event?
I looked it on my desk, but I think it was, 4.
Just 4 people?
How many did we have Friday? 6 or 4?
None of the city employees decided, yes? Okay,
I mean, you don't have to get 2 tables because we won't fill up 2. I mean, if there's not enough to fill up 1, then, we'll go, but.
what was the largest table, do you remember?
8.
Okay. I'm sorry?
8 was 750.
Okay, so it looks like, we can, looks like we can make it.
We agreed like 1 table, or
I'm sorry.
we agreed like 1 table.
Yes, I think that's the number
Yeah.
we're close to.
Okay.
One table, yes.
So I was asking the council to consider making a motion to, purchase 1 table for the Burrton Community Foundation Shoot Day on November 15th.
So.
Second,
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, free lot application, so you'll see that we still need to make a decision for the free lot over, I'm having trouble recalling the street. Market Street. I did call, Oscar today because he did make a comment about equipment being stored there, just to find out what exactly the equipment was, and he said if the equipment was stored there, it would be a skid steer. They drive a 2-ton truck and not a dump trailer, and they might sometimes have a concrete body, which is a little two-wheel body that can be moved by hand. So there's no equipment over 9,000 pounds, and there's no semi-trucks, and there's nothing that isn't already on the properties that we have in town. So that was my only concern when I heard the report, about what kind of equipment would be in the garage. So then the council just needs to decide if it would be well, I believe also the council needs to describe in the purchase that the owner is responsible to installing gas, water, sewer, and electric. Those expenses need to be on that. That was something that had not occurred last time.
Are those in the new packets for them to sign? Yeah.
I believe so, yeah.
Not the specific verbiage though, about the gas and the water and sewer.
But we probably ought to be as specific as we can, or just make sure we.
It can be in the motion, correct? Yeah, it can be in the motion. And what would be the correct legal term? Would we say property line? Would we say from the city point of connection? What would be the correct term for like?
Central services.
Yeah,
It depends upon exactly what it is we're doing. I want to make sure we're clear facts. It's been a question of facts.
yeah, so everything kind of fits differently. The sewer has a spot, that we connected to. The water has a meter, so that's more obvious. It would be the meter on. The gas is questionable because some people get their gas put up to the house, and some people keep them at the property line. So the gas meter rate seems to be back and forth.
And just John,
John is on vacation.
I would suggest, direct the agreement be prepared that you can actually do the state. And go ahead and do it.
Okay.
I think that's something, we'll put it on and check it and a couple things like that. Is that right? That's, it's,
Yeah,
what you said.
And I think most of the time now they're running the meter up to the house, so I would draw it up like that. And if it's not clear to the house, I guess it would cost a little less. So,
so the last bill that we got from the last house that was out there was, $4,500 or $6,000 in the gas, that the city paid, so the gas meter could be put up to the house. So the conflict was, should they have paid from the property line on, or should they pay from putting the meter up to the house? And I went through all of our ordinances, and we don't have anything for gas. We have something for water, they're responsible from the meter on. Sewer is from the point of connection on. It's just gas that seems to be the non-binding. So,
Years ago, there was a difference in how gas utility provided service, where they placed the meter, they would take it up to that point.
right,
Because in many instances, they wanted it right by the house for safety's sake in terms of where it was located. That's become a confusing point ever since, in terms of now, some instances, the property owner chooses a different location,
right.
so.
do we know for certain they're gonna get gas, or it'll be all electric?
Figure it out.
So it may not even be that we can be specific.
Okay, so what would you suggest, for tonight? Do you suggest that we need to have a motion to be able to enter into
Just
agreement with
not
this property?
direction for me to prepare the agreement.
Okay.
And that way you have that in front of you, we can give that to prospective builder and property owner as well. Make sure everyone's in agreement before that's formal.
Okay, so we will table this until next meeting. I will let Oscar know, and we will get the more definitions of what that's going to be. Okay, KMDA. The only thing I saw on this, Kim, is the actual SOC, SPS service agreement, and has all sorts of dates on it. Did you notice that? It has like October 2015, and it has so I think we can enter into the agreement, but I think before we sign it, we just need to make sure that what we got from, the two was actually up to date. So really, I just make a motion to enter into the,
Okay, this one, are you talking about right here?
yeah,
The
Well,
delivery
this
model?
says November 2025 through March 2026.
no, like if you flip through the pages, it has some weird dates on it. It's probably not a big deal, I just thought that was weird.
I think we only have the front page.
If it's like that.
Okay, well anyways, I'm sure it'll be fine. I'll just make sure that we get the right one signed. So just need a motion to enter in with, I'm trying to pull it up, so it's here. The SSC firm transport agreement. The Southern Star Central Gas Line Pipeline Agreement. So I need a motion to enter into the Southern Star Central Gas Pipeline Agreement.
So,
Okay. Motion made by Andy, seconded by. Do I have a second? I'm not sure we can get gas if we have. All fair say aye. I'm gonna pause for a minute, I'm sorry, I forgot to introduce our government students. We have Hunter, Colt, and Enzo. Thank you guys for coming tonight. Okay, the next is the planning and zoning report. Did you see me? Oh, yeah, sorry about that, 817 on Kansas, my bad.
Your city inspector was out there today, and everything looks perfect to him. We are about 60% done, so insulation went in today.
When do you think sewer will be installed?
That I do not know, but I'm so glad that you guys were talking about utilities. I do actually have future plans for 817, because my new address is 820. And so, since I have future plans for 817, doesn't that mean we'll have to actually set a meter at 820 for the gas and the water?
So my question, the questions I have, but I don't have the answer to the question, but the questions I have is, first of all, on all those lots out there, because I'm not looking them up, did you purchase them all and incorporate them together, or are they all separate lots when you pay property tax?
They were all one lot, all of it, though we will see probably breaking them off as east and west side. Because I do have plans for that side, for the barn and all that, to be something different than our house.
So my initial thought is you have to do a survey and break these apart, so then we decide where we can put them or not.
Sometimes it would be necessary. It's been, no, I like to do. We'll see some of our staff. Different utilities, provision services.
So we would need the meter, the water meters, but now for our sewer, we're going back and hooking up, or the line between our roads and us, so we're not going forward, and we don't have to bore under city streets or even go through city streets. But the gas and the gas, we would have to either cut to the city street or bore underneath it. But since I'm actually wanting to make 2 different properties out of that, I think that'd be the responsibility to move or put a gas meter in and put a water meter. And I don't care if it's up against the house or on the property line on that side, I don't care, but.
So this is the conflict that we've come up with recently with people putting gas lines in. And all the tenant understanding, at least up to the few new bills that we've had, which might be, we haven't had the bills for a long time, but it was John's understanding that to the point where the meter is, which is typically in an alley, then the owner goes to the house. And the city used to put it in. Well, the city doesn't put it in anymore, we contracted to Black Coast Energy. So now the most recent thing that happened that we did not know was going to happen is that people put the meter up to the house, which then brought on anywhere between $45 to $6,200 bill for the city to absorb. And so moving forward, the plan, John said that we need to make sure we're not putting any farther than where the gas line passes into. Yeah, like where the main line is, the meter goes there, and then the resident's responsible getting into the house. Now, that being said, I don't know all utilities are out to your place.
They're across the street. So it's a city street, and we're trying to get around it. And so it's all across the street on the other side. And so we're building over here, so we would need, and we have a complete new address, so now we're 820, not 817. So it required someone to put in a new water line, meter at 820, and a gas. Because the gas is clear over where the old house where it burned down in.
You stated that separate the property to the farm from the property.
We already have a barn and 2 garages there.
Because on, once you get out of the building, back on the house, so that could be a zoning issue you're going to.
What do you mean?
You can have a building on a residential lot without a house. So if you separate those lots, you can separate parcels, that building has to have a house.
And we might put
So I believe the address was given to you because your house was going to be on the other side of the road.
Right.
That doesn't necessarily negate the fact that you have everything under one tax value. So your house, because of 911, has an address. The county recognizes that as all one parcel. So until you address that situation, I don't know how to move forward. And when you did buy it, and I get that things change, but I do remember John telling you that the utilities were going to be your responsibility of getting them to where they were to your house because of it being your property.
Well, and that was in the understanding that was going to be all kept as one.
Right.
But if we break that off, then, but I mean, I'm gonna have to cut through City Street. Unless you vacate, which is one of my other requests that I got admit in here a couple times requesting. If you vacate it, then it's all just one big thing. But right now, we're separated by City Street, so.
So you came tonight to extend your RV building.
Yes,
Okay.
that's what I say. I mean, the gas has been requested from Black Hills, a request for them to talk to me on that. KGD is here, put in, they're actually treating it as two separate addresses, Evergy is, I mean. And so that goes in the end of this month. Water, that's still a question. The sewer we can hook up and have our pumpers ready to go. He was just waiting until the sheet rock and everything got done to come in and do the finish and run the line. And the pump station, since we have to have it, because the sewer lines are so shallow, you can't get to it, so the pump station is out.
Okay, so for today, are you asking for 90 days since are you living in it?
I would prefer like 6 months because I don't know, I mean, we are about 60%, but I'm still on contractor's timeline. We've got winter coming. I just waiting.
Right, but we haven't been more hard than 90 days on.
You've been going 6 months. Last time I was here was in April and May. I've been going every 6 months.
I don't know when we got that 90 days, but we have the last few RV has to come in and above that 90 days. So your last time was here was April? Oh, okay.
Sorry, I don't understand.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll just leave it up to the council to decide.
I'm all right with that. I think significant progress is being made, that it's not just going to quit now at 60%. So,
Yeah, I think we're looking for 6 month extension. So,
Okay, so motion for Andy for 6 months, second for Scott, all in favor, say aye. And then I think, just to figure out what's next for the dividing of the properties and utilities. I'll get with the garage and all, but I think you can probably just sit down with the code enforcer and stuff, just kind of figure out what that's gonna be, because I do believe that Scott's right, there's probably gonna have to be some planning and zoning involved.
Probably the best thing to do is treat all this, everything to that house, whether you use all there, that way if you do decide to separate, go with that house, second years for
Would I have to set the second 7 years or with the city since that meter goes to that address at that point?
the lawyer, the people, us.
So there's fees for hookups. City puts the meter in, but there is hookup fees that kind of offset some of the cost of the meters. So, so we would just need to look at all that. But I see where Scott's getting at. If you don't separate anything right now, then you wouldn't have to do a whole lot. You wouldn't have to do a survey, maybe you wouldn't have to, I don't know about the gas, it depends what Blackwood's energy decide on that. But
If you leave, if you use the current meter, that's where you're at, run your lines, and then it's like, well, you're separate, you're probably in a situation that's it, you use your house, you can't to separate. That's the doesn't need to replace, I'm sure there's a lot of tracks on that gas. What's there, but your equipment would be available in that point. That's just the decision you have to make, decide on what your future is on that.
I'll have to go back to the center. Look at it and see what we can do.
They probably it pretty well.
Yeah,
They should be able to advise her.
yeah, I don't know the gas water, the gas situation, is there none on the east side of the river, no gas?
It's just on the west side, but that's all been one property forever.
Right,
So it's just
There's
one of those,
Any houses on that side further down the road,
quite a ways down, yeah. It's,
so the gas line stops at that place, it doesn't fall down that side of the road.
The water line goes around us, it comes around us, the sewer line stops in the street for there, down a little bit, but then it runs all the way back to Clark's house behind us, so even though it's further trenching to that one, it's easier to get to than over that one to go across the road and boring under the city streets and stuff, so.
Josh, you recommend that I need a map to look at now?
Probably just maybe like this, like from Clark's house, it's closer to the truck side leaving the house down the road.
For gas or for sewer?
Yeah.
Well, is there gas on the river?
Gas is in the middle of Main Street. That's what the gas line does.
In the middle of Main Street.
So then my next question is,
It's
Brad, do you
not-
also offer gas if gas is within that area? Is that something?
Gas line runs down.
There's a gas line.
All the way to the, it's a gas line that runs all the way to the end on Kansas Avenue. Down the street of Kansas Avenue, and then you just tee off, you go either side. You don't run two lines down each side.
I see. So there is gas service?
There is gas service
Okay.
there because the house is burned down. Had gas service, we shut it off and the house was burned, so.
They should be able to find an economical way to go to you.
I'm sorry?
I was thinking,
Like I said, they should be able to find an economical way to get from that line then to your house versus the
I'll have a little talk with them and they come out. See? No, that's it.
It's not me, Jerry, I'm not
No, I
sure.
can't find it on any of
I'm not sure if it's getting the feedback that it's not me, I turned mine off. So, okay. My name's Jerry. Oh, hi, Jerry, I didn't see you come in. And I saw you come in, I didn't see you.
On September 24th, we heard a conditional use permit application for allowing RV parking at the mobile home park at Burrton. And so I believe you all have the report, but I will just make this as quick as possible and get through this. So the Planning and Zoning Advisory Board reviewed the following when considering the recommendation to rezone the property or to allow the conditional use permit. One was the demonstration of need for the change. And we felt that the mobile home park was purchased 11 months ago by the applicant, and to date, there have been no improvements made by any of the properties. The requested change was deemed unnecessary as it would incur large initial costs and guarantee of return and further postponing necessary immediate improvements to the mobile home park. We also considered the suitability of the use to which the property is now restricted. Multiple safety concerns were raised regarding the allowance of RVs to rent vacant lots. Safety concerns included environmental safety concerns and child welfare. The third thing we took into consideration was the relative loss or gain to the subject property owner as compared to the relative loss of nearby property owners. The applicant failed to provide sufficient evidence to support the claim that the conditional use permit would indeed provide the additional income desired to make improvements to the mobile home park. The next is conformance with the comprehensive plan or other planning policies and documents of the city to guide its growth and development. The mobile home park is currently in violation of the following city regulations as is designated in the previous zoning ordinance document adopted January 14th of 2008. Section 5, item 1, it's unclear whether I'm not gonna go through these.
Yeah.
Section 5, item 1, item 2, item 3, item 4, section 5, item 6, section 3, item 1, section 5, item 7. In addition, the new city ordinance, which was adopted in April of 2025, includes multiple regulations that the mobile home park is currently in violation of. Article 17, section 4, items 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 20, 21, and 25. Next is the extent to which the proposed use would adversely affect the capacity or safety of the street or road network influenced by the use. Whereas the proposed use provides adequate access roads or ingress and egress to prevent traffic hazards. The mobile home park currently does not meet the required internal driveway and or parking requirements. And the next one is the ability of the applicant to satisfy any requirement applicable to the specific use imposed pursuant to these regulations in the Unified Development Code and other applicable regulations. The applicant was unable to provide answers or solutions to questions regarding the implementation of the requested permit with conditions. She was really quite unaware of most of what's going on there. So our recommendation is as follows.
You're not gonna read all of the pages, right?
I don't have to.
No, all we really use is that we recommend that the permit is not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if they don't need to know, then
Yeah.
we recommend.
Yes.
We found that our 6 statements to be false at the hearing held on September 24th, 2025, and unanimously voted to deny approval of the requested application to allow RVs to rent vacant lots at the mobile park.
And with that being said, then I just need, the council to agree or disagree with their recommendation and make a motion about
Actually, there's several options.
Okay.
Go ahead and adopt the recommendation, and final action is taken by this body, because it's recommending and the plans of, they can, overrule, and they can, I guess, approve in essence by overrule. The application is made, or you can, make specific findings with questions. There you feel that have been covered and what changes presented to you, and remand it back to them for further action.
Option 1 again.
Option 1 is to accept the recommendation findings of the council and reject the application.
I would make a motion to accept the findings and reject the application.
Second.
Yeah, a motion by Scott, second by Ray, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, thank you. Beth Ann.
Yes.
Let's see, it's Beth Ann, Leslie, and Cynthia. Please come on up. For the tracking of this program.
Cynthia Sutcliffe is here from Caring Hands.
Okay, so we do need to make sure we get a microphone. Feel free to adjust it all the way towards you. Go down with it. Okay, go ahead.
Cynthia Sutcliffe is here from Caring Hands, and to answer any questions, as some of you may know, a cat problem arose in the past couple weeks, and I'd like to ask that the city adopt a TNR program. Ask whatever questions you'd like. I think you have the paperwork in your packets from what the ordinance should be or has been in the past. So Caring Hands coordinates it. The city does not. It doesn't require city staff or city employees, city time. It does require none. So I'll let Cynthia talk.
Any questions at all, based on whatever we shared with you?
It was all.
What would be the average annual cost of this program?
So just as an example, we have ran this in Halsted and Sedgwick both recently, and they were allotting $2,000 per year. That does cover spaying, neutering, vaccinating 42 cats for what our costs are. We have definitely gone over that amount as far as the work that we have done in both cities on that first year that we have done work. Typically, by the second year, we don't even need to utilize that full amount. So I don't really know as far as Burton's cat population, if that's going to be within reason or not. I know that our coordinator gets calls all the time for people in Burton, and she does track on her maps that she has where everything's being reported and how many cats are being reported at those locations, which I would be happy to get that information from for you so that you have a better idea of what we know at least. But you know, that would be my recommendation at least to start. I feel that what I have been told by Ashley, our coordinator, is that population does seem to be higher than Halsted or Sedgwick's cat population. So I would recommend trying to go a little bit higher than that. But I know that small towns have limited funds. So it does sound like there might be some additional options to help the coverage for that. And I think it's any questions you guys have regarding that, I'm happy to answer them.
Well, this is something that I think the city needs to address, obviously. Our concern has to be it's people, I think there's people in town that want it, I think there's people in town that do not want it funded. It's not their problem, they didn't treat it, they just hold it in front of them, and both sides of that story. The other thing I have concerns about is we've already done it for the following year, and it's tight, and we don't have that room, and so if we have a means of finding alternate funding, let's say private funding became available, what's the city's responsibility in that scenario?
That's a good question. It may be one of those things where it's just however we can communicate with that kind of thing. But as far as on your guys' end, I would definitely make sure to adopt an ordinance regarding feral cats and at least allowing us to come in and perform that program here, just so that it is set in stone, it is accepted in your residents, don't have to argue about it.
My further question would be if there was a funding scheme for say 35, 2,000, 25, whatever that would be. Once you got to that spending limit, we're going to stop.
So with
Or is there cost bill to the city following that?
Not necessarily, even if it was funded by the city, the 3,000, what we typically do is we continue to work. The main reason for that is just because cats don't stop reproducing. So it doesn't really help you guys with your funding if they're continuing to do that, and then we're just back to square one the next year. So we understand that, and, we also don't want to see this continue to happen. It affects us as well by the amount of animals that we take in every year. So that's why we just agreed to continue moving forward with it.
Thank you. A discussion with an individual, and I think there's a possibility of something to come forward, and that would be questions I would have for you go.
Also, I think right now the premise is the cats are being trapped and possibly removed. That doesn't solve the problem. The cat population knows that their population is diminishing and they reproduce at a higher rate. So by doing the TNR program, they just eventually die off and the cat population becomes less. So people perceive that, oh, we're going to shoot these cats or we're going to take them out to the country or whatever. It doesn't solve the problem, it just makes it worse. We do not have a Burton Community Foundation meeting until a week from today. So I can't commit to, well, I have I have enough board members here.
Let's not do that.
I can't commit until our meeting on Monday, whether the foundation would put up the money for it or not.
Well, I guess looking forward, I think this is very important that needs to happen, but we need to work together to find a way to make that happen. That's going to be as seamless and painless for the community as possible. And if there are people willing to participate in some of the funding to get it down there, the charities equally have been entertaining that to come forward, let's all make a plan. Because obviously we don't have the budget to do it this year.
Well, I think the plan would be to do the ordinance with the condition that the community foundation funds the program.
Actually, I'm not even for sure we have to do it that way, because that had brought a point, or maybe it was Cynthia, I'm sorry. So earlier this year, when I watched Chevy's traffic release video, I was excited about the program and found out like we don't have anything in our ordinances that cover feral cats. And in the area that I lived in, after the creation storm, there were 3 feral cats. And I wanted to go pay to have a face with their ear and let it go. But then I realized that we don't have anything in our ordinance that allows that. And, you know, and then I kind of reached out again for the traffic police to find anybody interested volunteer-wise. I didn't know necessarily that the program, the video I watched led on that a lot of it was animal control in the city, so I didn't realize that it's not, that it's just carrying hands. But I personally, there's a cat in my neighborhood, I would love to trap him, I would love to pay for him to be fixed and have his ear clipped and release him. But I know that I'm supposed to set an example as mayor, and that's not necessarily allowed by any of our ordinances. So I was wondering, why can't we make an ordinance that it doesn't have to be at this time supplemented by, if a person chose to do it in their neighborhood, or is that not, can that not happen? Maybe it can't happen, I don't know.
There's no one control to that, it's control. But to answer your question primarily, we can work around that. The ordinance that I normally prepare for that allows for and qualifies the ability to do it. Then it becomes a question of, as a policy matter, you allow private citizens to engage in that, which is maybe not the best solution in some cases, depending on who it is, if they decide to exercise self-help in the garage. You know, any knowledge, that happened in the city. So, but we could put the ordinance in place.
I would like to see that ordinance at least get put in place so that we can reach out and forward to the full blast and the time available.
And on the flip side of that ordinance, because it talks about having a theater sponsor, maybe I'm not saying that right, but I can see where Brad is like, because who's to say I decided to move away and that cat wasn't fed anymore? I mean,
Can we table this for 2 weeks to see if we can see the outcome of the community foundation meeting and then put it back on the agenda for next meeting?
Maybe at least also have a possible ordinance prepared, so
Again, we come on the table before, so that's not, I don't think that's common.
It would start when? It would start with,
It really just kind of depends on when everything, all the steps are completed, and basically, just so that you guys are aware, the way that we start this program is we do have a team of volunteers that will take flyers out. You know, we'll pick generally an area about 120 houses. We'll go door to door with these flyers so that we can actually talk with folks, see, you know, what's going on in their area, and just kind of go over the It's all volunteer as well, and so just over the weekend before they're fixed, and then they're brought back that Monday generally and released back to the area.
and I know there was maybe a vet issue, is that still in the works?
So we are actually good.
You are.
We have 2 solid options.
Good.
One of the states, check, and the other one will check on this next week.
Tony had a question.
How do you decide they're feral or not? Because we had a cat come to the house, and I put on Facebook the man's cat, and a gentleman came from the trailer house, picked up, said the cat, and then the next day, there was the cat out running around. So, I mean,
It's kind of it's a tough thing, you know, because you're gonna have people who are going to the problem.
like if you did somebody's personal cat and fix them, is that an issue? How do you define what a feral
So
cat
that's
is?
kind of why we put the notices out, just to make sure that people understand they should keep their pets inside if they don't want to pick up.
On the traffic days.
Yes, we notify through Facebook, but we'll send texting flyers, and we can have the city, if you guys have social media pages, we share that as well, so that everybody knows. However, if we get one, we track, and it's presenting very friendly. Generally, what we do is hold it for 3 days straight, which is what you legally have to abide by. And we also scan for packages. So that's another thing, is we're making sure that they're identified, and microchip, maybe call them, tag, those sort of things. There's way that people who don't want their cat within the program, you know, prevent that.
So there's just specific days, like, so if Tanya catches these cats, you can just call you and say, hey, that's a stray cat.
Yeah, this is how we try to make sure that people are not taking advantage of the situation too.
So we do the handouts on Sunday, generally Sunday afternoon, go around in the houses, say we can track cats on Friday evening, Saturday. So they have a notice that this is gonna happen.
And those people in, you just, they get gas in, that's still pretty.
Yeah, it
I'm not
is.
getting around that, because there's that, the city have, you put on, finding those people for our, and
That's,
that's,
yeah, that's what I would recommend if you want to cover all bases. Just, I know that there, one person in particular was saying that, you know, you can fix some of the cats, all the cats, it doesn't solve the issue, but the way that it works with Halsted is we do as much as we can on our end to help folks, but if they're not willing to do it, a lot of grief with their neighbors, there's still reproduction happening at out of control rates as well. That's a problem for the city, so in that sense, you do need to enforce something.
Yeah.
Even it's, there's also there's a notification provision. Typically, if you've got a pet, responsible pet, owner, better have some proof that it is the pet. Should, we've got a tag, we've got it registered. So, it has happened, where presented supporting a certain circumstance, and there was no check, there was no other indication, it was a margin that we had, but it was also one that the neighbors has for months, with all the process was sent out. Orders, really good.
Yeah. In my neighborhood, there are a lot of cats that are around. But there's also some very sweet people that live in the housing area that feed them. And so,
So what the neat thing about that is that housing area could sign up to be feeders, and then they have fixed cats that are eating.
so is this where they clip their ears?
Yes.
That way we know not to trap them again. That's already been taken care of, and like what Missy said, then they can be taken care of the feral cat colony. They sign a contract stating they're taking care of their feral cat colony. And they're accountable for that.
So Ken, can you just go ahead and, if everybody's okay with that, then just go ahead and put it on next agenda?
Thank you so much. I guess we do anything else, but questions are good. I can go over them with you guys.
I just have a question on the, I guess, funding setup from the foundation standpoint. Is this something that's a single year contract, multiple year? I mean, The rest of the amount that should be recommended.
Yeah. Pretty technical with the other towns. So, also, so we're just about to go into the next year, actually, then for this year. And because we have that, utilize that free grant for that. And Karen Harris is a nonprofit, so I guess you can, I if you go to the foundation, maybe a food drive or something out with a nonprofit or something, I don't know, those are just ideas, but yeah, all in all, it's a fabulous idea. Like I said, I wanted to do this to have earlier this year and realize that we didn't have all the books to be able to do it. So, yeah, I look forward to seeing how it works out. Thank you so much, guys. Okay, next one is I just need a motion to approve ordinance, or resolution. Yeah, resolution.
Okay, so they're gonna sit up here for an hour.
Oh, Rachel, if you'd like to say something about it.
I'm good.
Okay, I'm sorry, I did not know that's why you're here.
No, you're good.
I mean, I don't always think I got a little comment, that's something that's repeated every year, isn't it? Unless it's something new. Yeah, do you feel like you need to say something? Okay. I need a motion to approve resolution 2025-10.
Make a motion to approve 2025-10.
Ray made a motion, and a second, all in favor, say aye. Okay, the next one is charter ordinance exempting the city from provisions of KSA 12-148. And Brad, if I remember right, I actually have to vote on charter ordinances, correct? I do not, okay. I was thinking there was something.
Just requires a supermajority.
Okay.
It's going to be passed for publication, consideration, or.
Four, okay.
So it's funny, you want this, and I gotta read this.
A number of years ago, the legislature decided to set, and mandate that municipalities, something in 25, but I would say generally, are required, and actually not because it was, are generally required to replace an absent member of this body within a specified period of time, typically 60 days. We ran these various charter ordinances in a lot of cities for that purpose. Is that true how we implemented it, how it was required to be done? Because they had some other things to do in each city. The ability, however, to charter out from that requirement still exists, so that what you can do with an ordinance similar to this is going to say, okay, as long as we have a quorum, we're not troubled. And we'd rather wait until the next regular city election to go ahead and fill that position. That is not vacant, and we'll add it to, or if that term is up at that point, be automatically anyway. What this allows you to do is avoid that time frame. I think the one that we passed, I looked at that today, I apologize. I think it was 60 days after vacancy. If you have not named and approved a successor, you're required to have a special election unless you're within so and so many days of a normal election. Like now, you wouldn't have an issue because we have one in November anyway. But if it were in April, and since we moved from spring elections from municipalities to fall, we wait too long. And I had one city that, before all of this was in place, which is why I understand why the legislation was done, went 2 years. The person was just been elected, then wasn't able to continue. The mayor won. It's again, if you remember how the process works, the mayor nominates. And it's the mayor's choice as to who they nominate. You then have to approve, so they're not seated until a majority votes to seat that person. In that particular instance, as has happened a number of other times, they disagree. Mayor continues every 2 weeks to nominate the same person, and they continue to vote it down. 2 years, every 2 weeks. That didn't make a lot of sense. So most of that doesn't happen on that often. It's kind of a horror story, but it can happen. And so that's why the legislature stepped in and said, this is what we're going to make you do unless you charter out. That answer.
Yes, and my question, is there a need, has the need arisen, do we feel that we need to do this, or?
On one of our past appointments, we were on the line, like we had like one meeting left and having not any appointment, we would have to have a special election. So in my opinion, and this was recommended at the municipalities, their recommendation was that all three class cities should opt out of this because it costs around $1,500 for a special election.
Now, does this negate the need to actually still nominate and follow the process to try to keep the whole panel?
It changes the time. The need will always be there. If you've got a 5-member board, then ultimately the obligation is to fill it by election or nomination and approval. What this does is takes away that gun to your head, if you want to think of it that way. Okay, we've got to do this within 60 days. We don't agree. We're going to incur the cost of the special unless we're close to the normal election. Gives you back-testing flexibility. That's up to you as a body, policy-wise, whether you're, I'd really rather we get that requirement that we fill it within that specified period of time, or, be subject to the special.
This applies to just the council, or does it apply to board?
Council as the chief governing body and policy making and legislative body of the city. That's the one that applies to.
Anybody else's thoughts?
I mean, I think we definitely had enough turnover that we want to make sure we have a full council. I wouldn't want to just leave it up to minimum of 3 ever.
No, I don't think that does, but if you have trouble getting the next person, then you have to force a hand at appointing that. That was the only thing when I went to my first training, we were talking about opting out of all these different class cities. It's been on the list to do for a while. And only once in the 2 years did I not really become close to having not agreed to something or found someone we would have had to have a special election. I think that's where the catch is if you can't find someone to appoint, and then your hand is forced to have a special election, that's what I see arguing that. It's not that I see that we can't appoint. It's that if we can't find someone, we'd be forced to have a special election. If we could find a to appoint, who's gonna make the money?
Yeah, I say,
Yeah.
if you can't find somebody that wants to step up and fill the special election, and nobody runs for it, you still have to stay.
But it costs us $1,500 to apply for a special election. So that's why the league has suggested that third class cities opt out of it to keep the expense. I don't see our council not ever trying to get points. I mostly just see that it might take more than 60 days.
How does this apply to you or what we got in it? Okay, so we all thought we do this, and then the next election comes along, we decided that we're 6 months out, nobody's stepping forward, so we're gonna stay at 4. Next election, so nobody else.
But at some point, it doesn't obviate the ethical requirement that you have a full board. Basically, if you're constituted as a legal municipal corporation in Kansas, and you're set up with a voting membership of 5 in a normal traditional city council mayor setting like in most third-class cities, there is still the expectation that you will carry out your duties and get someone in place. The only thing that this does on the positive side of it, if you want to look at it that way, is avoid that 60-day timeframe. Well, shoot, we can't find somebody, and now we're stuck with the election. That we may not be able to fill anyway, because we couldn't find somebody to do it voluntarily who's going to go sign up and run.
So to answer your question, I do know 2 tiny towns in the state of Kansas that happened. They were down to 3. 1 term expired, they were down to 2 because nobody ran. So they ended up having to change an ordinance that said people within 20 miles of the town, here is not like 120 people. So that has happened, but then they had to change the ordinance to find humans who would be on the board. So that's like a really super special. Yes. Traps and cats, there are a couple election places for development, so I guess we could.
Can you amend it to make it so you can keep one vacant, but if you get below another one, then that 60 days kicks in?
Yes, and I'm thinking that too because remember, every charter ordinance amendment you have requires that you have a supermajority, meaning 4. If if you get down to 3, you can't even do the charter ordinance. I went through that with Paulson a few years ago where 2 of them resigned on the same night. And you got to get 2 left. 1 was gone and 2 more resigned. And I left them with 2. So we had to scramble to figure out how to do that before the June fall.
So you basically can only easily pass the orders in the house, which is also why we're looking at now compared to supermajority. The charter ordinance is so much more different than resolutions.
I should explain that too, if somebody doesn't recall. The charter ordinance we have to publish for 2 consecutive weeks, and then there's a 60-day period that runs thereafter. And it can't become law until at least that 60 days is run. It gives the opportunity for the public to, like we did, we had that going on here, to go for, sales on Sundays in town. Gives the opportunity for someone to go ahead and file a protest petition with the requisite percentage of the last voter electorate.
Which then will have to pay for a special election.
I guess I kind of like the idea of at least having some type of deadline, like some type of fire if we have a certain level. I mean, obviously, if no one's ready to make it totally anyways, and I can't get that, I'll figure around that, but just to kind of keep the fire lit, I guess, if it gets down to too low of the threshold, or hey, really, get somebody in there.
Well, we don't have to pass the charter ordinance. It was just a recommendation from the league.
Yeah, I understand the idea, like the idea to a degree, because, if it's, maybe that time of year, kind of difficult for people to get out, farmers in the fields or whatever, can't right now, but maybe later. I understand that, but maybe if it's down to 4 people instead of 6, then, that deadline hits, and here we go, we find something to get in here. I kind of like that idea.
I don't know who y'all are. All I know is like,
And tell me what you feel like you'd like to do, because most of what you're proposing, at least potentially, can occur. So,
I mean, essentially, reading through this, it essentially looks really good. Maybe we just add, that if we have 2 vacancies on there, it's going to trigger a 60-day deadline kind of thing. But just keep the rest of it kind of what it is.
something bring that to.
okay.
I'm about 50% wire, 50% problem that, but I understand we are.
Well, I don't,
Looking at the future, so. Yeah, right now, we're in some issue, obviously, with the election coming up, we can find people running for 3 seats, so there's interest in wanting to be involved, which is really encouraging, or to see, but who knows what that looks like 5 years down the road, And that, frankly, that can be revisited at a later date, if that becomes a concern. Sure, yeah, we did it all, you got something wrong.
I can understand why we're going through all this if it's not an issue. Either way, you know what I'm saying? Why make something that's not an issue? Why do that? Go through all this? Because I don't like the whole having to have a special election cost us so much money. Because if we can't find somebody to volunteer for it, we're paying for an election anyways. So I would agree that we need to get rid of the ordinance. But I also understand that we don't have that problem.
Yeah, this ordinance is basically what we're already doing, right? If somebody leaves, and you ask people to throw their names in the hat, and you guys decide who you want, so.
So it just gets rid of the cost that would come with it.
Yeah, I don't want a special election either.
You see what I'm saying? And we don't want to spend money on stuff that we don't have to. So I would recommend just going ahead and exempting it out of this ordinance just to get rid of that cost. I think that as a community, that we all are very supportive and everybody tries to get involved. And so hopefully that will be that way. But to get to where you can't find somebody and then you have to do a special election, and nobody volunteered for it, You can't make them go, but they can make us pay for the election.
Yeah, which is, was the least defense on it, they talked about, they brought up several ordinances and several languages that they encourage their properties off, just solely for the financial part. So it's just on my list.
I'm like those two. I don't think we're ever gonna have a problem with people not wanting to step up. So if that's the recommendation of opting out, I would, she kind of made the motion, I'll second it, so.
So Tanya, are you making a motion, you just didn't make a recommendation? Are you making a motion?
Making a motion to,
To accept charter ordinance number 2025-1. Is that your motion?
Subject to stuff to do, in case I can change, but I don't think it's going to do
Okay, so just do that.
that.
Would you like to make a formal motion?
oh, y'all are going to.
Yeah.
So moved.
Okay. Is your motion to accept charter ordinance number 2025-01, subject to staff review? Yes. Okay, Tanya made a motion. Do we have a second?
I'm sorry.
Greg second. All in favor, would you roll call on this one?
Yes.
Okay, roll call. Tanya? Andy? Greg? Josh? Josh, Renee? Scott? Okay, so it is kind of, okay. Oh, 250 year celebration, I won't take very long on that, but Carol Kurt and I have met, and we've been challenged by the state of Kansas for each community to do a theme every month, and they've given us the themes, and Carol and I met the other day, we looked at people who can sign for each theme, or to meet with them. So for the whole year, every month, there will be some sort of scheduled celebrate patriotic 250 years America. So I'm excited. The themes are really cool. They can involve one on the senior center, one on the library. I talked to Josh about possibly during Flag Month to do a flag ceremony during a council meeting. So I'm super excited. Everybody will have a chance to do something very simple, but yet celebrate America. So thank you, Carol, for meeting with that. Okay, so now let's start these. I need a motion to consult with for an executive session to consult with the municipal attorney regarding pending or pending or potential litigation pursuant to KSA 75-4319E2, and this one would include code enforcer, Chief Ogle, the council, and what we have with the municipal attorney, so we already have
I'm going to start pending more, just as potential litigation.
okay, potential litigation. And strike the pending, it would be potential litigation pursuant to that.
I can make that motion, but I have to be all.
You can say so.
So,
Okay.
Second.
Oh, for how long? 10 minutes.
so,
Okay, second, all fair say aye. Okay, we're gonna stay here. We have Marshall who's going to mute and shut the camera off, and Massachusetts, or you're ready?
Okay, I am asking the council for a motion for an executive session number 2 to discuss personnel matters of non-elected personnel pursuant to KSA 75-4319B1 to include the council and our attorney.
So,
All in favor? 5 for 5 minutes. 5, please. Okay. Okay, so,
I didn't know that.
what's the time? 7:40. Executive session number 2 ended at 7:40 with no action taken. Okay. I'm requesting the council make a motion for executive session number 3 and final executive session to consult with municipal attorney regarding potential litigation pursuant to KSA 75-4319B2, 5 minutes, including code enforcer, chief of police, the city attorney, and council.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye. Okay, all we have left is announcements. I'll go ahead and find my 10 minutes back here. I will be at mayor training, Thursday, Friday, Saturday in Olathe. As for the LMI survey report, I have a meeting with Sketchy. So far, only 47% of our population, which they have finally agreed to 845 people, they had us at 1,020. Yeah, so they have finally, we statisticians got it down to the census population. So we are at census population, which is approximately 845 people. We only have 47% of our population represented, which means we are not, we have to have 60% of our population represented and qualified. So, she sent me an email today. She said, this was her statement, non-responses are treated as over-income households and negatively affect the city's LMI percentage. So right now, we have 53% of the people in Burrton are considered over-income households. We have to have 60, or we have 51% or something like that. So she believes that we still, at minimum, we have 170, so she said she suspects it's going to take about 50 more surveys to get the numbers that we need. So I'm gonna talk, Kim's gonna get those numbers narrowed down tomorrow to make sure, for sure, concrete, this is how many households we have. And then Steph's gonna rerun the numbers, and then we are gonna have to come back to the table with phone call, rally, and we're gonna have to basically divide the towns up by blocks, and all of us are gonna have to get some going on, because I've been going on every night, I get about 4 to 8 surveys. I bumped the numbers up, I don't know, 35 surveys.
Yeah, I mean, she's done a good job going out door knocking. I did it one day, I got like 8 surveys, but she's been going out the other day, she brought in like 20,
Yeah.
you know, so she's been, I mean.
Now, my I do I'm not looking for a job, so it's not hard for me, but, hard for my knees. But, out of all the doors I knocked on, they were either not home, and only 2 people said no, thank you. Only 2. So I really believe we can get the surveys. But with that being said, gonna regroup after I get back from training. Kim's gonna work on some very precise numbers with sketch. She doesn't want any number left behind. If the house is empty, we want it marked empty because that helps us. So next Monday, you guys are all here for me. We'll have a plan of action because she said we are so close. And as of right now, if we had to end it today, if we had our population, we qualify. But we don't have enough population in there. So she said, please don't stop. She's working with the community right now that suffered through the survey, and they are getting grant after grant after grant. So she really encouraged us to please not stop, even though she recognizes it's a rigorous process. So as I am speaking to the community, if you have not filled out your survey online, call the city, ask us to come to your house. Like, everybody needs to fill out a survey, that's where we're at. So, and that's all I have. Kim, do you have anything? Oh, she turned in 2 grants.
I did get the grant submitted, I don't know how long it takes to hear back from them, but.
I thought one was February.
Well, I mean, if you get it, you'll be awarded in February for both of them, but I did get them submitted.
And it was a lot of work. And she did a great job. She did stop keeping all the obstacles that kept happening. But she is taking a grant writing class soon, and we will be prepared for the next round of grants because now we know we need to follow those quotes way ahead of time. So
Hopefully we get notice of the grant in less.
yes, mind you, we did get
We had like 6 weeks maybe, I think, like, and I got like the numbers for the water project came in the day the grant was due at 4:30 in the
So
No
anyways,
pressure.
no pressure, Kim, but thank you for pushing through it, because I know it was a pretty good So now, I would entertain a motion to dismiss. Second, all in favor? Thank you, audience, for staying late tonight. This is what happens when you have a meeting last night, it's only like, 13 minutes. It's zero.